Hey everyone, and welcome to InfoForge. You know, in East Africa, you've got these two giants right next to each other. They share a border, they share a language, and boy, do they share a long, complicated history. Yep, we're talking about Kenya and Tanzania. And their rivalry, it's legendary. It touches everything from their economies to their incredible wildlife. But what's the real story here, behind all the noise? Well, you're going to want to stick around, because by the end of this, we're going to lay out the whole data-driven story for you. So yeah, what is the real story? Is it just a bit of friendly competition, a classic sibling rivalry? Or is there something deeper going on? Something that's put them on totally different paths? Let's dig in and unpack all of that, using the actual numbers and facts. And really, you can't help but think of it as a sibling rivalry. I mean, they've got these incredibly deep cultural roots, and of course the huge unifying language of Kiswahili. But, and this is a big but, right after they both gained independence, their paths started to split. And that split would go on to define them for generations to come. And that divergence, right there, is the key. It's the key to understanding pretty much everything that came next. It was this massive, fundamental split and how they chose to build their countries from the ground up. And it totally set the stage for the big economic showdown we see today. So here it is, the big split. On one side, you had Tanzania. Under their legendary founding father, Julius Nyerere, they went with something called ujamaa. Now, this was basically a form of African socialism. Think state control, self-reliance. Kenya? They went in the complete opposite direction. They went full throttle into capitalism, throwing the doors wide open to private investment and a market-driven economy. I mean, you couldn't get two more different blueprints for building a nation. And you know what? Those choices they made way back then, they lead us straight to the main event today, the economy. This is really where you see the results of those two clashing philosophies. It's where it all becomes crystal clear. So let's do it. Let's follow the money and see how these two really stack up against each other. Okay, first up to the plate, Kenya. If we're looking at its economy, specifically the nominal GDP, we're talking about a figure around $132 billion. Now, just kind of lock that number in your head for a second, because it's the comparison that really tells the whole story here. And right on its heels, we have Tanzania, clocking in with a nominal GDP of about $86 billion. Now, that is a very solid number, no doubt about it, but you can already see a pretty big gap opening up between these two, can't you? Yeah, seeing it on a chart like this, it just drives the point home, doesn't it? Kenya's economy isn't just a little bit bigger, it's significantly larger. And that's what's really cemented its role as the region's economic heavyweight. This gap, right here, is a huge part of their relationship today. And if you really want to see that economic gap in stark terms, just look at the currency. One single Kenyan shilling is worth about 20 Tanzanian shillings. Just think about that for a second. The difference in buying power is massive. It's a really powerful signal of just how much stronger and more stable the Kenyan economy is on the world stage. So, the big question is, why? Why is there such a big gap? Well, a lot of it goes back to that early bet Kenya made on capitalism. It paid off. It helped them build this whole ecosystem. They've become the undisputed business hub for all of East Africa, with stronger financial systems, better infrastructure, and this is a big one. It's just plain easier to do business there. And all of that, of course, attracts a ton of foreign investment. All right, let's shift gears a bit. We've talked money, now let's talk about another huge area of competition, tourism. And honestly, you could call it a battleground. Both of these countries are just blessed. They have some of the most spectacular wildlife and incredible landscapes on the entire planet. But just like with their economies, the way they manage these natural treasures couldn't be more different. And here we go again with another major split in philosophy. See, Kenya has a total, complete ban on trophy hunting. Their focus is all on conservation. Tanzania, on the other hand, they allow it, though it is regulated. This isn't just a policy difference on paper either. It has caused real diplomatic tension, especially when you have issues like elephants migrating across the border from Kenya's famous Amboseli Park right into Tanzania. When you break it down, their tourism strategies are just worlds apart. Kenya's model is all about volume and accessibility. They make it affordable, convenient. It's the perfect safari destination for, say, a family. Tanzania? totally different playbook. They're aiming for the high-end luxury market. It's a low-volume, high-cost model. What they're selling is exclusivity, that feeling of being completely alone in this vast, wild place. So really, they're going after two completely different kinds of tourists. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, right? We've looked at their history, their economies, their tourism. So let's bring it all home. Let's do a final tally and put these two nations side by side, looking at all the key numbers from our source material. So when you lay it all out like this, the picture becomes pretty clear. Whether you're looking at the overall size of the economy with nominal GDP, or you're looking at individual wealth with GDP per capita, Kenya has a pretty solid lead. And when you factor in things like military spending and that huge difference in currency strength we talked about, well, the numbers from our sources all point in the same direction. Right now, Kenya is the economic leader, and that really shapes the balance of power in the whole region. But hey, let's be absolutely fair here. This is not a one-sided story by any means. Tanzania has some incredible, undeniable strengths. I mean, we're talking about world-class, absolutely iconic wilderness, the Serengeti, the Ngorongoro Crater. That exclusive high-end tourism model we mentioned, it's a huge success. And maybe most importantly, their economy has been growing, and growing fast. So, at the end of the day, what's the big takeaway from the source analysis? Well, it boils down to this, and I'm quoting here. When it comes to currency power, economic scale, infrastructure, and accessibility, Kenya stands taller. So the bottom line is, while Tanzania has this just immense natural wealth, the data shows that on those core structural things, Kenya has the edge. For now. And that, well, that leaves us with a really fascinating question, doesn't it? We've seen that Tanzania's economy is on the move, it's growing strong. So as it keeps expanding, as it keeps modernizing, could that regional balance we've been talking about start to shift? What do you think? It's definitely one to watch. And there you have it, our deep dive into the Kenya-Tanzania rivalry. Hey, if you enjoyed this and learned something new, do us a huge favor and subscribe to InfoForge for more explainers just like this one. And of course, don't forget to hit that like button and ring the notification bell so you never miss what's coming next. Thanks so much for watching.